My sister tried to steal our mom's house. Here's what happened. Stay tuned for the entire story. And if you're into wild real-life drama, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I, 28F, have 6 siblings. Our mom recently passed in November after battling stage 4 cancer. I had a very close relationship with my mom. We spent a lot of time together, and my 4 children, 5-year-old twins, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old, all adored her. I'm the youngest among my siblings. My older siblings didn't prioritize spending much time with mom until the last few months when she needed more help. I currently live with my boyfriend, 38M, and our 4 children in a 3-bedroom apartment. It's a nice place, but not ideal for our big family. Over the summer, while mom was still able to make decisions, she transferred ownership of her house, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, to me, for me, my boyfriend, and our kids to move into. She did this so I wouldn't have to buy the house, since we couldn't afford a mortgage. The house had less than a year left to be fully paid off, so we could manage the payments. All my other siblings own their own homes with plenty of space for their families. I didn't ask my siblings if they were okay with this transfer, because it was our mom's house and her decision. After mom passed, there were medical bills to cover, so it looked like we need to sell the house to pay those. My boyfriend offered to buy the house for just enough to cover the bills, rather than the full market value, because we couldn't afford that, and mom had planned for us to just move in without taking on a loan. Mom left a cash inheritance to my oldest sister, Melanie, 43F, to split equally among all 7 of us siblings. Since mom's passing, we've asked Melanie how much is left in the inheritance, but she tends to avoid the question, saying she hasn't counted it or isn't sure. Mom also had some valuable coins, 4 coins worth about $3,200 each, and a 5th coin worth about $1,200. I only learned about these coins from my sister Rochelle, 35F, who said Melanie was considering giving coins worth $3,200 each to herself, Rochelle, my brother Nick, 37M, and me. Another coin was for a different sibling, and 2 siblings weren't told about the coins at all. That upset me. I understand the coins could increase in value over time, which is why they didn't want to sell them for cash to split evenly, but it felt unfair. Since there weren't 7 coins, I thought the fairest option would be to sell them and split the cash equally. I suggested that, but never heard anything more. Then last week, when Rochelle and my niece came over for dinner, she dropped a gold coin from her purse and quickly put it away. I didn't say anything, but I couldn't believe they excluded me from that part of the inheritance because I spoke up for the siblings who were being left out. A few days ago, my boyfriend got approved for a loan. I told Melanie to keep her updated, but her response shocked me. She said she didn't feel comfortable selling the house to my boyfriend. I didn't understand because selling the house to him was just a way to keep in the family and cover my mom's medical bills. Mom's wish was for my family to move into the house. After talking with Melanie, I reached out to Rochelle, but she couldn't talk right away. When I finally spoke with her, it was clear Melanie had influenced her view. So, I messaged my siblings in our group chat. Essentially, they all want to sell the house at full market value to an outsider so they can get cash from the sale. Melanie made them believe mom had only transferred the house to me to handle selling it and sharing the money. That's not true, and I tried to explain this, but Melanie had manipulated the situation. For context, Melanie is the oldest, and our siblings tend to be influenced by her. It sounds harsh, but it's true. I see through it and try to share my side, but they all support Melanie. They want the cash inheritance, but I want to live in the house as mom intended. Since mom transferred the house into my name, I'm going ahead with selling the house to my boyfriend to pay the medical bills and for our family to live there. My siblings feel I tricked them out of inheritance, but I believe I found a way to pay the bills and keep the house for my family, which is what mom wanted. Update. First, I want to thank everyone for their thoughtful comments looking out for me. Melanie led me to believe the medical bills had to be paid from the house sale, not the cash estate. She never told us there was enough cash to cover the bills. I contacted an estate attorney and spoke with the lawyer handling mom's medical debts. He told me there's no need to sell the house right now. My family can move in without worrying about paying the medical bills immediately. If we decide to sell in the future, which I don't see happening soon, since 5-bedroom homes are hard to find, we'll split the sale proceeds after the debts are paid and deduct any money we invest in the house from their shares. I agree that keeping the deed in my name is a smart choice, so I have security for my children if anything happens between me and my partner. I appreciate everyone pointing this out and encouraging me to seek legal advice. Regarding the coins, I didn't bring them up just because I wanted to share. I mentioned them to explain why I don't fully trust Melanie and why I feel she's not being honest about the money and estate, which she isn't. There's more money than just the coins that she's not being transparent about. That dishonesty really hurts me. I try to be open and honest with my family and would never deceive them. I believe family conversations should be based on integrity. Once I felt more secure after speaking with the lawyer, I updated my siblings in the group chat that the house will remain in my name. Melanie has been manipulating the situation. When she thought I was selling the house to my boyfriend, I knew she would tell the others the issue wasn't me keeping the house, but that it wouldn't be in my name anymore. She seems very upset that she can't control the story to fit her version. But this was Mom's original plan, for me and my children to have a home, and she always knew my boyfriend would be part of the plan. Melanie still seems upset, but I don't see the problem. Update. I want to keep you all informed. Since telling Melanie we plan to keep the house, she has been doing everything she can to undermine me. Melanie is my oldest sister by 15 years, so I always trusted her, maybe naively. She was Mom's power of attorney and handled paying Mom's bills at the end. After I told her we would keep the house, she said she didn't have Mom's account info and withheld details I needed to pay bills. I made all the calls and easily transferred utilities to my name, but handling the bank has been harder. I can't make payments without knowing the account number. Melanie is holding on to all Mom's paperwork and refuses to share it. I'm now waiting for the bank to send me a form so I can be authorized to make payments on Mom's account. After that, I'll apply to fully assume the account. I hope this goes smoothly. Melanie is very angry. I told her I didn't think she was being fair with the estate division and that she keeps changing her story to fit her current audience. I told my siblings they could still visit Mom's house to take anything they wanted before we donate the rest. We all had keys before because we would help Mom as needed. But once Melanie found out I was keeping the house, she went through and took all the valuables and collectibles to sell and keep the money herself. I'm not talking about small items. She took 4 large glass and wood display cabinets, 20 collectible cookie jars, and at least 100 collectible angels. She did this all in one day. Because of that, I asked my boyfriend to change the locks, and he did. I'm so glad he did, because I later found out they were even talking about taking the fridge and stove. Since then, my boyfriend thinks they've been coming by daily to check the trash. It's been stressful. After the locks were changed, Melanie tried to isolate me from my siblings and dad, who are the only family I really have left. Unfortunately, they're easily influenced. Honestly, I don't want to try to fix relationships if they are so quick to cut me out. She has even manipulated my dad. I lost my mom just over a month ago, and now it feels like I'm losing everyone else. It's been very hard, but I truly don't believe I'm in the wrong. Maybe my post seems one-sided, but I'm not hiding anything. I also contacted the lawyer who handled the transfer on death to schedule an appointment to finalize everything now that my mom has passed. I asked about my mom's estate as well. The lawyer told me that no estate had been filed. I also reached out to the probate court in our county to get a copy of my mom's will, but they told me no will have been recorded there either. All of this was Melanie's responsibility. It doesn't feel right. I plan to update again at the end of January or beginning of February after my appointment with the lawyer next week. Final update. There are still a few loose ends, but if everything goes smoothly, this will be the last update. Let's hope for the best. I went to the lawyer to finalize the transfer on death. The deed is now fully signed. I spoke to the lawyer about Melanie, and she said since Melanie withdrew everything as cash right before Mom passed, the only way to force her to open an estate would be to take legal action against her for theft of Mom's money. That's something I really don't want to do to my sister. While what Melanie did was wrong, I recognize I inherited a valuable asset, so I'm choosing to let it go. Many have suggested not sharing the house sale with my siblings if I ever decide to sell. I feel conflicted. I don't plan on selling anytime soon, but if I do, I will consider the current value before any renovations, plus the time and money we invest, and also the cash inheritance I'm not receiving. Since Melanie won't tell me how much the inheritance was, I'll have to estimate. I could ask my siblings, but honestly, I don't want to put more energy into it. I'll assume the highest reasonable amount. It's their fault for not being honest in the first place. My relationships with my siblings and dad seem repaired, but they're not the same. There's still some discomfort because they have ongoing relationships with Melanie, and I don't feel comfortable being as open with them as before. I'm glad the relationships are somewhat better, though. They feel caught in the middle between Melanie and me. They don't think Melanie would lie, and they don't think I would lie. Since I'm the youngest and Melanie is the oldest, they may think I'm confused. Melanie is 15 years older. She was an adult before I even started school. She has had more life and school experience until about 5 years ago. While I feel I've caught up, she still has that older sister advantage with everyone else. Melanie is now telling everyone that I should get a personal loan to buy out all my siblings. That doesn't make sense. I wouldn't be approved for such a large personal loan, and the interest would be much higher than a home loan. If I needed to buy everyone out, it would make more sense to get a home loan. Home loans are easier to get, have lower interest rates, and offer larger amounts. But I wouldn't have agreed to that anyway because my mom's house needs a lot of work. She put the house in my name so that my children and I could move in without taking on a loan. When I spoke to the lawyer, she said my mom knew she could have put the house in all 7 of her children's names to avoid court and allow me to buy out my siblings. But Mom didn't want that. She wanted the house in my name so we could move in without loans, and she knew my siblings wouldn't get a payout from it. I understand this might hurt my siblings, but they did receive other inheritances like cash, coins, cars, and valuables that I'm not part of. Because of all this, I think my siblings are confused about who is telling the truth because Melanie twists everything. I've decided to stop discussing it. Even defending myself isn't worth the toll on my mental health. I'm still working with the mortgage company to assume the mortgage. Since the house is in my name and I'm currently paying the mortgage, I hope it's just paperwork with no issues. Thank you all for your kind advice and support through these updates. I truly wouldn't have gotten this far without you. Hopefully, this will be the last update. And if the Comfort Level podcast team reads this, I'm a big fan. I listen every evening while tidying up. You all have calm, thoughtful discussions that I really appreciate. Edit. Melanie was Mom's power of attorney, but that role ends at death. No one was named executor, and Mom didn't make a will, trusting we'd sort things fairly. She put Melanie in charge of dividing cash and assets because she's the oldest, and Mom believed she'd be fair. At the time, I thought so too. We were wrong. The lawyer told me that since there's no will or named executor, all siblings would have to agree to name one to start a legal estate. But that would mean taking Melanie to court for mismanaging Mom's money, which I don't want to do. I believe she was unfair and that money was mishandled, but I'm choosing to let it go as best I can. Thanks for sticking with me this far. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe. There's a lot more stories on the way.